Our scripture text comes from the book of Genesis. Book of Genesis, the 41st chapter. We're going to begin at verse 39, working our way through verse 43. Genesis 41, 39 through 43. In the in the easy read version of the Bible. It says, "So Pharaoh said to Joseph, God showed these things to you, so you must be the wisest man. I will put you in charge of my country, and the people will obey all your commandments. I will be the only one more powerful than you." Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I now make you governor over all of Egypt." Then Pharaoh gave his special ring to Joseph. The royal seal was on this ring. Pharaoh also gave Joseph a fine linen robe, put a gold chain around his neck. Then he told Joseph to ride in his second chariot. Pharaoh's officials said, "Let him be the governor over the whole land of Egypt." Then Pharaoh said to him, "I am Pharaoh, the king over everyone in Egypt. But no one else in Egypt can lift a hand or move a foot unless you say he can." For a few minutes, my brothers and sisters, I want to talk to you with this thought in mind. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. For my homileticians out there, I want you to know, I know what I'm doing. I'm not going crazy. I'm not backwards, not speaking backwards. For everyone else, I want you to understand that today I'm using a different style of delivery called a retro sermon, retro speaking, where I'll begin with the conclusion and end with the introduction. Keep rising to the top. There's a story that's told of a man who had a billy goat. Farmer had a billy goat. And everywhere on that farm he went, that billy goat was sure to follow him. And he had an old dug well on that farm, and he always made sure to keep that well closed, keep it covered. So when the billy goat starts wandering while he's working, it won't fall in that well. So one day he had to go to town, and he couldn't take the goat with him. So he tied the goat up to a post and left the billy goat tied to the post. While he was gone, the billy goat chewed his way through the rope that he had tied around his neck and tied to the post, and the billy goat began to roam and wander and fell off into that well. The farmer, returning home, looked around, and the billy goat wasn't tied to the post where he left him. He started looking all over the farm. He looked in the barn. He didn't see him. He looked all around near the chicken coop. He looked near the pig pen. He looked everywhere he could. He could not find that billy goat. Then finally, that farmer heard a sound. That farmer heard a sound coming from that old dug well. When he looked over in the well, he saw the billy goat down in the bottom. The well was too deep for him to reach down in there. He didn't have anything he could reach down and pull the goat up with. He could throw a rope down, but the goat wouldn't be able to put it on himself to get hoisted out of there. So he decided, well, rather than let him suffer, I'll go ahead and bury him down in the well. So he went and got his wheelbarrow and filled it up with some dirt, grabbed his shovel, and he began to throw the dirt in on the billy goat to bury the goat, to save him from misery. But little did he know something was happening down in that well. And the more dirt he threw, he kept hearing the billy goat more and more. Wondering what was happening down in there, he looked and he saw the billy goat getting closer to him. The billy goat wasn't deep as he was before, because what the billy goat was doing is every time that farmer threw some dirt on his back, he'd shake it off and pack it under his feet. Every time that shovel flicked some more dirt in there, he'd just shake it off and pack it under his feet. And he kept rising until he rose all the way to the top. My brothers and sisters, when people throw dirt on your back, don't get mad and don't let them bury you. Keep rising to the top. Just shake it off and pack it under your feet. When they lie on you, lie to you and lie about you, shake it off and pack it under your feet. When they try to kill your dreams, your hopes and aspirations, shake it off and pack it under your feet. My brothers and sisters, when people try to misuse and abuse you, shake it off and pack it under your feet. When people try to discourage you, when people forget about you and overlook you, shake it off and pack it under your feet and keep rising to the top. My brothers and sisters, when people try to bury you in their pit because they fear that what you have will lessen what they have, shake it off, pack it under your feet, and keep rising to the top. My brothers and sisters, when people try to keep you on the bench, either find another team or start your own game. My brothers and sisters, when people know what you bring to the table, yet they keep overlooking you, don't keep jumping up and down saying, pick me or put me in the game, coach, move around and say, skip you. My brothers and sisters, don't let the doubt of others cause you to doubt yourself. My brothers and sisters, don't let the laughter of others make you hide who you are or whose you are. And definitely don't let the haters and all them other crazy folks kill what God gave you. Because people will try to put you in places where you are not noticed or where your gift is not of use. People will try to work you in ways that are not in accordance with what God has given you. People will assault you and your gift, leave you feeling decimated, and then lie about what happened. People will try to stop you from being who you are or cause you to forget who you belong to. I'm not talking about anybody in particular this morning. I'm talking to you about people. My brothers and sisters, we see from the life of Joseph that people will lie about you. People will lie on you. And people will lie to you. I want you to know that when you establish a reputation of character and integrity, it will come to bear witness for you. I want you to know that having a strong prayer life and relationship with God will bring you out of any situation. I want you to know that when you trust in God and not people, God will take you to the top. People are funny and fickle. People will fail you, but God never fails. I got that from the Reverend Dr. Jeremiah A. Wright Jr. He said, people are funny and fickle. People will fail you, but God never fails. In case you missed that the first time. Joseph, who was the subject of our text and context, was able to hold on and keep rising to the top because he trusted in God. Joseph was able to keep rising to the top because he had a strong prayer life and relationship with God. Joseph was able to keep rising to the top because he had a reputation of character and integrity. Despite all that happened to him, Joseph kept rising to the top. Joseph had to rise to the top, y'all, because when you're at the lowest, the only way you can go is up. I'm almost at the top of the sermon, so let me tell you about Joseph. Joseph, his father had several wives. Joseph had a lot of step siblings, half brothers and sisters, as we would call them. Well, Joseph had visions. Joseph saw dreams, had dreams. Joseph was that kid that daddy thought he couldn't have, and he meant a lot to him. So he treated him a lot different than he did the others. He played favorites, which is something you should never do as a parent. But see, Joseph was that little kid that was a tattletale. His brothers ain't like it because he was a tattletale. See, when his daddy wanted to know what they was up to, he sent Joseph out there. They supposed to be tending to the sheep. He sent Joseph out there to see what they was doing. They supposed to be in one place. He sent Joseph out there to see if they was there and come back and get a report. Joseph was a trick. He was a tattletale. And y'all know how we feel about that little tattletale sibling. Joseph's brothers didn't like him because he was a tattletale. But then they add to it. Joseph went to him one day. He said, y'all, I had a dream. I had a dream there were 12 cornstalks. 11 of them bowed down to one. They said, you mean you telling us we going to have to bow down to you one day? He said, hey, I'm just telling you what the dream was. They ain't like him even more. Boy, seething hate is what they had. Jealousy, hatred. Oh, that's a bad combination to have. Then he went and told him another vision, told his parents. I had a vision of the sun and the moon bowing down to this one star. There were 11 others, they were bowing too. So you saying me, your mama, and your brothers go all bow down to you one day? His daddy, though, okay. Maybe he's a dreamer, he's a visionary, and he's good at interpreting. Maybe. I'm going to just keep this in my pocket. Yeah, but they hated him more. So his daddy sent him out one day, go check on them, go see what they're doing. They wasn't where they supposed to be. Somebody told him. Now they over at Dothan. He goes over there, there they are. As they saw him coming, they said, oh, here he come. Here he come again. Well, they decided, okay, we going to do him in. Let's go ahead and get rid of him. And he gave him that coat. He made him a special coat, but we never got one. Yeah, we going to do him in, trying to kill him. Well, Reuben, his brother, decided to step up. Hey, let's not kill him. Let's just beat him up real bad and throw him down in a pit. We'll find a dry well and throw him down in there. His plan was to come back and rescue his brother later. Well, they beat him up, beat him pretty badly. But what they did, they sold him to some merchants they saw to be their slave. Hey, y'all need a slave? We got somebody for you. Went back to daddy and said, Daddy, we got bad news for you. Look here. Look what we found. Found Joseph's coat covered in blood. Some wild animal must have got to him. Oh, no. He want to go see the body. Oh, we don't know where the body at. Oh, we can't tell you that. We don't know. But look at the coat. So daddy kind of felt something, you know. That parental thing kicked in. Something ain't right here, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Put it on later. Y'all had to go ahead and read the rest of Genesis to find out what happened. So they lied on him. They lied about it. But now these people got Joseph, hold him as a slave. Joseph was then sold to Potiphar, king of Egypt, Pharaoh over all of Egypt, as a slave. But Potiphar noticed something. Everything Joseph did, the Lord blessed. Joseph wasn't like the other slaves. Joseph worshiped God. He praised God. He trusted God. He prayed to God. Pharaoh noticed this. He noticed Joseph had a different lifestyle than everybody else. And because of that lifestyle, things was a little different for Joseph than they was everybody else. So he took him in his house and found out everything in his house is crops are growing better and stronger. All my livestock and whatnot, they're doing better. They're producing more. Potiphar noticed that everything Joseph got near, the Lord blessed. This is in the 39th chapter, it says it. Everything Joseph touched, the Lord blessed it. The Lord allowed Joseph to prosper in everything he did. Well, there was a woman in the house, Pharaoh's wife. Joseph could do anything he want, touch anything he want in that house except that woman, and he wasn't going to do it anyway. That woman tried to touch him. That woman came at him. Pharaoh's wife came with Joseph and said, I can't do that. I cannot sin against God. See, it was a sin against Pharaoh also. A sin against his own body. But he said, I can't sin against God. He said, if I do something I ain't got no business doing, the first person I got to answer to is God. First person I'm doing this against is God, and I am not going to sin against God. She kept trying. He kept saying no. Then finally one day, she caught hold of Joseph alone. He said no. He tried to run. She grabbed his coat, yanked it off, and then screamed. Screamed bloody murder. She swore up, down, and sideways. Joseph tried to take her. But she resisted. And when she resisted, when she screamed, that's when he ran off and he left his coat behind. Potiphar believed his wife. Potiphar imprisoned Joseph. But if you read in the context, it says when Joseph got to prison, the warden had favor on him. Come on, y'all. When a man's ways please God, even his enemies become his friend. He'll make his enemies do anything for him. He will straighten up every path, every crooked way, and every crooked path for you. That's what he did for Joseph. Joseph found favor with the warden. Warden ain't even know him. He made him a trustee. Now Joseph got favor in prison. Oh, I'm talking to somebody this morning. No matter what situation you in, no matter what situation, no matter what pit or prison they put you in, I want you to know that when your ways are in line with God, you will still have favor in the worst situations you can be in. So ends up the cupbearer teed Pharaoh off. The baker teed Pharaoh off, locked them up. They had a dream, and Joseph going around doing his trustee thing one day, and he see them looking sad. He asked cupbearer what's wrong. Cupbearer told him what was wrong. He said, I had this dream and I don't understand it. He told him the dream. He said, okay. So let me interpret that for you. See, God gave me a gift. He interpreted the dream. The cupbearer said, really? He said, yeah, don't worry. You're going to be here for 3 more days. Pharaoh will bring you up out of here, go restore you back to your position. You go hand him his cup. You go be right back on the job doing what you do. Great. Thank you. He said, now do me a favor. When you get out of here, don't forget about me. Say, I got you. I'll put a word in for you. I let him know what you did for me. He sees the baker. Baker looking sad. Baker had a dream he don't understand. He told Joseph the dream. Joseph said, oh, man, yours ain't so good. In 3 days, you go come up out of here, and Pharaoh will hang you by the neck. Well, y'all just so happened 3 days from then, Pharaoh had a big feast. He got to release a prisoner. He got to kill a prisoner. He brought the cupbearer back. He had the baker hanged. There it go. But the cupbearer lied to Joseph. He forgot about him. He ain't make mention of him. Joseph was in there 2 more years before Pharaoh had a dream that shook him. And then the cupbearer said, oh, yeah, by the way, I forgot. There's a guy down there that used to work in your house named Joseph, I believe, who can interpret dreams. I was supposed to tell you about that 2 years ago when I got out, but I was so happy to get out. I was just thinking about myself, because that's what happens when people get blessed. Sometimes they get blessed and they forget about those who are down at the bottom with them. They get up that ladder, but okay, I'm going to leave that alone, y'all. Another sermon for another time. So while he's there in prison, Pharaoh sends for him. Potiphar sends for him. He goes to him, listens to the dream, interprets the dream, tells him what the dream was about. When the dream comes around, when he tells them how to do with the economy so that when the drought comes, they'll be just fine. Everything works. He restores Joseph. Not only did he restore him, but he put him higher than he was before, because see, before he was just a servant in Potiphar's house. He was Potiphar's slave. Now he's making him governor. Oh, I came to tell somebody that when you trust in God, when you follow the ways of God, when you keep in step in line with God, he'll bring you out of some stuff. Not only will you be restored, but you will be elevated. He made him governor over all of Egypt. So can't nothing go on without Joseph been saying, yeah, I'm ruler over all of Egypt. Joseph is next under me. Joseph ain't even an Egyptian. But yet he gonna let this Hebrew boy run Egypt. He said, can't nothing happen without Joseph's permission. Joseph kept rising to the top, even when his brothers and sisters plotted on him, when he was taken into slavery, when he was sold to somebody else's slavery, when he was put in, when he was lied about, lied on, lied to in prison. Joseph kept rising to the top because he had God on his side. Let me say it again, because he had God on his side. And he was on God's side. Y'all know I love Kenny Burke's song, Keep Rising to the Top. Let me give y'all the second verse. Listen at the second verse of the song. Keep on believing all the dreams inside of you and don't stop achieving. Let some love shine on through and don't fight the feeling. Keep on dealing. Everybody keep on moving, because I know we can get it over. The refrain, y'all, the refrain is the best part. When the women singing their high part, give it all you got. Keep rising to the top. Give it all you got. Keep rising to the top. See, if I had started with that, I'd have been done with the sermon. Be blessed, my brothers. Be blessed, my sisters. I love you. God loves you. And the dadgum thing you, me, or anybody else can do about it.